This is Religion in the News, sponsored by Wish TV, in cooperation with the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis.
Good morning, Indianapolis. Welcome to Religion in the News. I'm J.R. Ryder.
My name is Merlin Gonzalez.
Hi, and I'm Faith James.
We have a great show for you today as our guests talk about building a community by building relationships and a child and family services program. All that is next when we return.
Good morning. My name is Merlin Gonzalez. My guest today is John Blatzheim. He's here to talk about building a community by building relationships. Welcome to Religion in the News, John.
How are you doing, Merlin?
We're really happy to have you here. So tell me about these, the ministry that you're leading now. It's a ministry and also now it's a church.
Well, it started with Shepherd Community Center. A few years ago, we worked in a food pantry for Shepherd. And Jay Hyatt, the director, asked if we were interested in starting a church at a homeless reentry facility called Partners in Housing at Colonial Park.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you started the food pantry and then now it becomes a house church. When did you start this?
It's a little over a year ago. It's actually our second church plant, so it's kind of a repeat. But what we discovered is when we would provide groceries and different things to the people that were either on the street or in desperate need of material, we found that they would come and they would receive it and they would be very gracious about it, and they would pray with us, and often they'd receive Christ, sometimes 15, 20 times. But we had a difficult time getting them into the church. And as we developed this ministry, we learned that as you start to get to know these people, they weren't comfortable in a traditional church. So what we decided to do, what Jay decided to do through Partners in Housing at Colonial Park, is to create a church in the basement of their homeless reentry facility for them. A location where they're comfortable, and that's basically how it started.
Wow. So you provide the food, and then because of that you start the relationship. You start building the relationship, and then now it became a church.
Yes, sir.
So what is the church name now?
It's Colonial Park Celebration Church.
And where is it located?
It's right between Emerson and Sherman on Washington Street, and it's about a block and a half from Shepherd Community Center itself.
I see. Now, I had the opportunity to visit you there last week, and it's really it's a really nice setup. Now tell me, what's a typical Sunday look like?
Chaos. We definitely operate in chaos. We have partners that from the Hamilton County area that will come down and help us by volunteering to do a breakfast. So we'll start with a breakfast. We kind of like Jesus' model. We feed them first food before we head for their spirit. Then we have a celebration service where, just like a typical church, a lot of the members of our community will sing, lead the worship, we'll read poems that they've written, and then I'll do a traditional sermon, and it's just been growing very, very rapidly. So we're very excited about it.
And so you have volunteers that come. Different volunteers that come from maybe churches or ministries, and then you set them up, you schedule them to feed them.
Yes, usually they'll come down once a month. So we allow people to go to their traditional church where they typically go to church.
Right.
And then we'll...
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm getting mic'd up there. Then what we'll do is we have different opportunities for them. Some come down on Saturday. We have a prayer ministry. When we hand out food, I give a sermon to people, and that's where we have an opportunity to grow the relationships. What we found is to really impact people and to draw them into a community where they'll start coming to a church where they're comfortable, is you have to develop a very strong personal relationship, like you and I would develop a friendship. So I'm not just serving you, I'm loving you. You're my friend. I'll call them during the week, they'll call me during the week, and we've developed very, very close relationships. relationships. It's a very unique setting in that we have people that are comfortable coming into our church setting no matter where they find themselves. I've got members that will stand up in the middle of the service when I ask for prayer requests, and they'll say, you know, I fell off of the wagon yesterday, and I got back on crack again, and I need prayer, and I need people to call me and help support me. We're seeing unbelievable movements of the Spirit. Prostitutes coming to Christ, drug addicts, alcoholics getting off alcoholism. It's just...
It takes a special person to minister to the kind of crowd that you have. Tell me, you know, what you can, if we visit your church, what can they expect? You know, just, you know, the environment, the look of the environment, the people, and, you know, the atmosphere.
Well, they're going to expect, one, to receive unconditional love. They're going to get hugged a lot. We do a lot of hugging. They're going to just see a community of people that are supporting each other in a phenomenal way. I've always struggled with churches tend to segregate, and I've always thought that was a problem. But what I've come to understand is that the segregation in churches is because people want to come together with like-minded people. Sure. They want to come together with people that are facing the same life issues that they're facing. And because of that, there really hasn't been a lot of churches developed around people who are still in those struggles. So when we get people together and they're all comfortable sharing because they're all facing the same issues, and they're facing homelessness, they're facing drug addictions, they're facing physical handicaps, they're just facing unemployment and trying to re-enter back into society. And through Shepherd Community, we have all kinds of resources that are available to my members. We're all one. We're actually under the Shepherd umbrella, so we're part of their outreach church.
You talk about the Shepherd. Now, we do have a flyer here that we would like to show our audience. So tell me a little bit more about this flyer here. You have different pictures there, and
Let's see, where are they?
so you have food pantry there, and then you meet with people, and then you introduce them. So it's really a great ministry, and I was really blessed when I visited you. Now, we only got a minute and a half here. Tell me briefly how you got started on this, and what's the needs?
Wow. Well, this is the second church plant we've done like this. It reached a point of 150 members. I had to turn it over to another church. It got too big. I had a full-time job. I had the opportunity to become the pastor of that church, but I had to take a tremendous cut in pay. So I turned it over to the ministry, and then Jay gave me the opportunity to start another church. This one has now grown to a point where they've asked me to come on board full-time with Shepherd Community. They don't have the resources or the financial ability to pay for another minister. So what has happened, they have sent me to GCM, which is Great Commission Ministries. I am going to be an inner city missionary, and then I will be assigned to Shepherd Community, and we're going to do more of these churches and more of these outreaches and food pantries, and we're going to try to reach the community through loving them, just developing these interpersonal relationships.
That is very exciting. Well, we do have the information on the screen. So that's Great Commission Ministries, which is really under the Shepherd Community, and the name of your church is?
Celebration Colonial Park Celebration Church.
Colonial Park Celebration Church, and then they can just call 317-871-4513. Well, Pastor John, thank you so much for being with us. It's a great ministry. Looking forward to hear more from you in the near future.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Back to you, Faith.
Thanks, Merlin. Good morning. I'm Faith James. Coming up next, my guest talks about the gift of education. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.